Hey guys. Well, welcome to a soggy, wet Thursday in the Rockies. Actually, we've got it coming for more than a week if we're to believe the weather channels. I don't know. I'm tending to think it's going to rain for a while. So I hope you guys are getting sunshine and not quite as much moisture. So Bryan Kohberger, let's chat about him again. So he was at author Margaret Atwood's lecture. So what is interesting about that is the fact that she's a known feminist, and you really wouldn't expect somebody that seems as insecure as Bryan Kohberger does to show up and want to sit in amongst a whole pile of women. But who knows? So it is also looking like the defense wants to ban cameras. That's what they're asking. No cameras at that trial. So as far as that goes, I don't know. I guess there's pros and cons to both, right? But of course, most people in the media are going to say it is our right to know, which is fact. So we'll have to see what happens. And there's a job application we can take a look at of Bryan Kohberger's. It's kind of interesting to see what he thinks he's experienced in. And then finally, but not lastly, social media warrants. Of course, we all know, or most of us know, that they have come back. There's not a lot said in them, so that's why I haven't done a video on it, but I will throw it in for a little bit of information for us at the end of this one. So let's check this out. I want to take a peek at Bryan Kohberger at this. This is from New York Post. They are in the description. So, Idaho. Unaliver suspect Bryan Kohberger spotted at a feminist author Margaret Atwood's 2018 lecture. So, look at him. Front row. And look at all those women. Like, look at all of those women. I think that's a dude back there. That might be. But there's really not that many. So, I mean, okay. What is he doing? Overcoming his fears? So, front row at a lecture by feminist author Margaret Atwood just a few years before his supposed incel complex allegedly drove him to attack the 4 college students. Kohberger, who is now 28, is spotted front and center at Pennsylvania's Northampton Community College back in 2018. And he is seen, they're saying, clutching a copy of The Handmaid's Tale. So that is her best-selling 1985 dystopian novel set in patriarchal white supremacy society in which women were known as handmaids and are forced to produce children for the ruling class. Well, maybe it's the topic that he is liking so much. Unreal. Do you know what? I mean, I've seen the movie floating around, I've seen the book floating around, but I have never checked it out because honestly, I would never have thought that that is what this is about. It's, yeah, don't judge a book by its cover. So he was arrested at his parents' home last December 30th in connection with the November 13 deaths of 4 University of Idaho students. He is set to stand trial. This is so far on 4 counts of unaliving, and I think the date is October 2nd, if it doesn't get changed. I personally think it will get bumped back, but we'll have to see. Oh, here we are. He didn't come here for the author, John Kelly, a criminal profiler and psychoanalyst, told the Fox News Digital. I'm tripping over my tongue. He came here for the audience. Okay, there we go. I mean, that makes more sense than my thoughts. My thoughts were is that he was coming there for the topic, which I in an odd way was, just in a different capacity. Kelly noted that Kohberger is one of the very few men in the audience, mostly made up of young women. In other words, he's an incel. He doesn't like women, but how come he still has to have some kind of distant relationship? I totally believe this guy was always looking. Okay, that makes sense. You know, I love getting, this is part of the reason I love having a think tank, is all these different people with all of these different skills or ideas or life stories. And we get a different way of seeing things or another way to analyze or look at things. So let's see here. Incel is the abbreviation of involuntary celibate and is generally used to refer to men who struggle to establish romantic or intimate relationships. The identity is occasionally linked to misogynistic online forums and, in extreme case, crime. Huh. He was hunting. I mean, I guess so, right? Is that his bag? No. The guy is a looker all the way. He is the kind of guy who's not going to chat somebody up and try to get a date or something like that. He's strictly pretty much focused on looking, Kelly said of Kohberger, who was a student at Northampton when that photo was taken. He is sitting in the front like he likes to ask or give extravagant answers to the questions. He'll answer them in an upper class kind of way. So very insecure by the sounds of things, right? Though investigators have remained tight-lipped on Kohberger's motive for the deaths, some experts and former acquaintances have speculated that he struggles with feelings of rejection from women and harbored cystic, if not even violent feelings as a result. Oh my God. You know, I mean, absolutely one hell of a sick puppy. Absolutely. You don't go about doing something along these lines and be your average Joe, you know? And isn't that something? I mean, a lot of people, everyone's getting these different views of him, and yet it's still kind of a shock to a lot of people, not all, but a lot of people, that this type of thing happened. I think he may have developed a sort of incel complex, said Pete Yachmetz shortly after Kohberger's arrest. I believe a continued attack of the victims indicates an uncontrollable rage and extreme anger, he continued, noting that Kohberger has been described as socially awkward with a long history of interpersonal problems. Very true. Yachmet's assessment echoed that of forensic psychologist Dr. Carol Lieberman, who told Court TV that Kohberger's choice of victims or decision to target mostly female college students convinced her he's an incel. I'm really going to be interested what comes out about these two. Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk are the two survivors, or the two girls that were not attacked. And there's so many different rumors going on about that I'll be very interested to see what actually does happen with that aspect of the case. At the time of his arrest, Kohberger was a doctoral student in criminology at Washington State University in Pullman. And that is literally 15 minutes from where these students were living. They were in Moscow, Idaho, this house here, 1122 King Road. It's all boarded up. They've got somebody staying in a security booth there. and they don't leave that property alone. It's now been donated to the university, and they've delayed tearing it down a couple of times. So I'm not sure if it has something to do with possibly them wanting it for the case or what their reasoning might be. One middle school classmate who asked to remain anonymous said that Kohberger was targeted by the coveted popular crowd, and the whole clique of popular girls made fun of him in school. They were the cheerleaders and the ones that every kid's had crushes on. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah. You know, will people not learn to stop frickin' bullying? Like, how old does a person have to get to realize bullying's not cool? I mean, it sure should be a hell of a lot faster than grade 12, let alone his age. Wow. And that's sad because he got picked on. It's not an excuse, but it is ultimately some kind of, it's the outcome for people are attacked and unalived. Do I think it's all due to being picked on? No. Do I think it's got a bigger part than people realize? I do. Sadly, I do. He saw these girls somewhere. Kelly has speculated these type of guys would be looking, stalking, peeping at them all throughout that hill out in the back there. Last month, it was reported that Kohberger also broke into a female classmate's apartment and moved items around in the months before these deaths. So I haven't seen that verified, but it is being said here. I'm just personally have not seen that verified. He was ultimately linked to the Moscow crime scene through DNA left on a knife sheath found under Maddie Mogan's body. I just want to hear this guy's explanation on how he got his DNA, how his DNA ended up on that K-bar knife sheath under Maddie's body, Kelly said of Kohberger's defense. He doesn't have a shot unless there is a, I agree, some damn good explanation as to how that got there. Kohberger stood silent at his arraignment, and the judge ended that not guilty plea on his behalf. There's multiple different reasons why this could have happened. So all 4 victims were honored posthumously at the U of I's spring 2023 commencement ceremony. And the parents and families picked those up. Absolutely emotional. Absolutely. Here comes the mosquitoes. I swear I can almost see them going by little ducks. All right. So again, it's talking about him sitting right there. Let's see what they have to say.
Welcome back to Sunday Night in America. The parents of Bryan Kohberger went before a Pennsylvania grand jury, possibly looking into the disappearance and death of a young mother named Dana Smithers. Her remains were found about 30 minutes from where Kohberger's parents live. The police say Bryan Kohberger is not a suspect. So why talk to the parents? Is there another explanation? Plus, Kohberger was back in court without much to say, while the state of Idaho weighs whether to seek the death penalty. Joining us now is someone I like to turn to on all matters legal and law enforcement, Paul Morrow. Welcome, Paul. What do you make of this? The grand jury hears from the parents, but the police say he's not a suspect. What do you make of that?
So, Trey, there are a couple of possibilities here. The first one is fairly prosaic. It could just be that in relation to the Dana Smithers case, The grand jury wants to confirm the alleged alibi that Bryan Kohberger supposedly has that washes him out of that case so completely. And so they could be asking the parents to just give them some anecdotal information that goes to that, stuff that may indicate where he was and when he was there. But the second possibility is a little bit more intriguing, and that is Monroe County grand jury is empowered to look into crimes within that jurisdiction. Well, the crimes that they're looking into that potentially involve Bryan Kohberger's parents, are they potentially related to something that occurred in Idaho? Could be something unrelated to Idaho. Could be something that the parents are mixed up in. We don't know that. I'm not alleging that, but it could be something completely different. But it also could be something that goes to the Idaho case. And the most intriguing aspect of this, and this is what's really interesting, the judge in the Pennsylvania
I'm trying to
case
stop.
has allowed a
Go back a little bit. Come on. I want to take that timeline.
What does that mean? That means that the interesting is that apparently the
Okay. Oh, it's going to disappear on me.
judge in the Pennsylvania case has allowed a sharing order. What does that mean? That means that the information from the grand jury in Pennsylvania, which is normally to be kept secret, is allowed to be shared with the court out in Idaho. That argues that somebody thinks there could be something relevant to the Idaho case going on in Pennsylvania.
You know, Paul, I hate when people ask me to speculate, but that is not going to keep me from asking you to
I'm just going to bump up a little bit.
It's rare to start with quadruple homicide. I mean,
People commit multiple homicides, that it's very, very hard to really marry yourself to any theory as to, was this the first? Was this not the first? It's such an anomaly, and it was such a horrific crime that I really hesitate to speculate too much, or at least to allege that, well, there's no way this could have been his first instance. Those aggravating factors.
So what do you guys think? Was this his first instance, as they say? Or do you think that the way he allegedly had this wrapped up in, what, under 10 minutes, does that mean that he has absolutely done this before? I keep thinking there has to be more in my mind. But with that said, I mean, I'm not a professional of any kind when it comes to this type of thing. So I guess we listen to the authorities. They know the best. That's right. I mean, when it comes to this type of thing, if the authorities don't say it, I'm honestly still consider myself pretty much left in the dark. So Bryan Kohberger describes cutting fish wrapped meat in creepy self-assessment. So this is, I just want to go through this with you. So this is for the Pleasant Valley High School District. Position, custodian or courier, security office. Date of application, looks like November 10th, 2015. So, school name and location, Pleasant Valley Elementary School in Kunkletown, PA. High school, Pleasant Valley High School. Broadheadsville, PA. High school, grade 12. Required curriculum was what he got, his regular grade 12. So, describe any specialized training, apprenticeship skills, and extracurricular activities. I boxed after school every day at the Jesse Harris Boxing Gym on 209 near Big Cheese Pizza when it was still open. I also attended a year of crime law enforcement and a year of HVAC at MCTI. It must be some kind of tech school. So a lot of this is redacted. So the employer, Big Brown Fish and Pay Lakes. Dates to employ, hourly wage, and he was a fish cutter. I cut the fish to specification of the customer. Exclamation point. Damn. I learned to do that when I was 4. Employer's address, everything like that is redacted. Meat wrapper at BJ's Wholesale Club. I did a multi pull. I did multiple things here, mostly the meat wrapping and produce positions. I made sure tags were correct, prices were matched on the outside shelves. I stocked the shelves with meat products, and I unstocked the shipment that came in overnight about 3 or 4 times a week. I had an opportunity for better money. Okay, let's see. State any additional information you think may be helpful to us considering your application. I do HVAC with my father, Michael Kohberger. It's a side job here and there and allowed me to have periods of unemployment. I am going to need more income now due to the fact I have a lot more responsibilities and utilities. I am capable of what's considered pipe work. I'm a solder. I attach pipes and do basic HVAC. Is that hydrovac? That's what it would mean here. I learned this from my father. I was District 11 Scales USA Regional Champion in 2011 for extremely temporaneous speaking. I learned how to do more HVAC at MCTI, and I learned to patrol and do basic security procedures. From my year in law enforcement, I was a boxer and still am a runner. You're gonna have to take notice of that. I believe dedication and perseverance are the most important skills learned from my activities. I lost nearly 113 pounds at age 15 into age 16 while attending school at PVHS and MCTI. I believe this is proof that I have the required dedication to be successful. Yeah, that's the proof. No military. Are you currently employed? No. Are you currently on layoff? And subject to recall? Yes. Can you travel if the job requires it? Yes. Kohberger's picture in the yearbook as a chubby teen also appeared to be proud of his weight loss, writing about it in a section where he was asked to describe professional and civic activities. Okay, I was a boxer. I am still a runner. I believe dedication and perseverance are the most important skills learned from my activities. I lost 130 pounds at this age, 15 into age 16, while I attended school at PVHS and MCTI. I believe this is proof that I have the required dedication to be successful. You think? Oh my God, man, get a job. He also claimed to have been a champion at extemporaneous speaking, a competitive improvisational speaking style. Sorry, I'm not speaking right now. Kohberger wound up getting a job at the Pleasant Valley School District, starting out as casual security guard and then earning a promotion to part-timer. The district outfitted him with size 13 boots, interesting, several extra large shirts, a jacket, and pants with 34-inch waist. However, his employment came to an end in June 22nd, 2021, when he submitted a resignation letter acknowledging that I understand that if I do not resign, I have the right to a school board hearing to determine if I should be dismissed from employment. Oh, he was up for dismissal. Okay, then. That's just bolt before that happens. The district declined to disclose further information about his departure, stating that the records related to non-criminal investigations, complaints, written criticisms of an employee, and disciplinary materials are exempt from disclosure under Pennsylvania's public record laws. Unreal. So let's take a look. This has been the big thing lately is the social media that they had sent all those warrants away for all those different platforms. And a few of them have been brought up lately. I think there was 7 of them that were put out. There was very little information. It was pretty much all redacted. I think that the interesting one, I think it's called Strata, and it keeps track of, I do believe it's something to do with running and keeping track of mileage, speed, calories, all of that type of thing. So let's see here. Documents include search warrant application for some of Kohberger's internet activity and some additional phone records, as well as some of the 4 victim social media accounts. I'm going to bump this up. For our seeing impaired, give it a bump up. All right, I just want to get back. The probable cause to believe that those records could yield evidence regarding the November deaths of Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan at the girls' off-campus home in Moscow, Idaho. Though they do not reveal of what the warrants obtained, the records indicate the prosecutors have launched an expansive examination of Kohberger's activities online as they probe the suspect's possible connection to the victims. So let's see here. You want to see what he was looking up. You want to know what he was saying, whether it was under his name or an assumed name on these different platforms. I imagine they're probably looking into Papa Rogers still, or have already done so. There was a couple of them that people were saying that it was actually Bryan Kohberger. And I believe that actually the Papa Rogers, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that that Papa Rogers account ceased as soon as he was arrested. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. So they want to establish the state of mind, who he talked to, and who he talks about. There could be probative materials there. The Latah County Prosecutor's Office leading the case against Kohberger did not reply to requests from ABC News for comment. And I do have ABC News in the description. Check them out. Trial date is set for October 2nd. It was more than 6 weeks that they chased him. I think they started kind of collecting the information on him a lot faster than what we know of. But it looks like some things were being put together, even late November into the beginning of December. So among the new documents are search warrant applications for Kohberger's accounts on Reddit, Google, Tic Toc, as well as the 4 victims' Snapchat accounts, and additional records from AT&T. So investigators obtained information from the suspect's Reddit account this spring, including the public post, private messages with other users, saved files and photos, and location data. Investigators have also previously obtained records from Kaylee Goncalves. There's a certain way to say it, so I'm being told. I've heard that last name, sadly, said so many times. I try to get it where the family's saying it, but they don't say their last name very often. So the affidavit for Kohberger's arrest, officials noted that he had previously posted a Reddit survey, which asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. Yeah. So, from Kohberger's Google account, investigators, according to new filings, have also pulled extensive records, emails, including drafts and trash, Hangouts, chats, including photos, his Google Drive, including documents, spreadsheets, presentations, and files, and associated metadata. The warrant also obtained information about his search and browsing history, calendar events, contacts, Google Play purchases, along with his Google Pay transactions. You want to develop a profile on him in your case, sometimes a psychological profile. They want to put a knife in that sheath because they don't have it right now. So you want to see if he bought it somewhere online. You're looking at a credit card receipts. The more evidence you can put before a judge, the better you've got. Investigators also obtained additional AT&T records for a subscriber, also unknown at this time, for the specific time period, June 22nd, 2022 to August 1st, 2022, including any messages, records, files, logs, or information that have been deleted but are still available, including cell tower pings and transmitted outgoing and incoming calls. So investigators previously used cell tower data to link Kohberger to the death crime scene. Okay, these are the ones I'm kind of interested in. Records from Strava, not Strata, Strava, an internet service which allows users to track their physical exercise and share their performance on social networks. We're also obtaining files showing, including biometric information like exercise data, session logs, geolocation data, contacts, and photos. Oh, there's the thunder. Names and accounts obtained were redacted, but the search warrant application says there's information related to the investigations into the students' deaths. There is information. Records related to the 4 victims' Snapchat accounts were also obtained. I'm going to go a little bit. I got one more, I think. I don't want to get hit by, I'm always worried about a close shot of lightning frying all of my stuff. Okay. So, records related to the 4 victims' Snapchat accounts were also obtained, according to the documents, including communications and other messages sent or received by the accounts, logs of previous Snapchat stories and chats, and all records pertaining to communication between Snapchat and any person regarding the user or the user's Snapchat accounts, including contacts with support services and all records of action taken, including suspension of accounts. There's a lot to this case, technology-wise. It is an evolving and changing field, but it is the best evidence you have because it's irrefutable, unbiased, human error-free. It may not be a one knockout punch, but there could be overwhelming circumstantial evidence. So they were collecting a fair amount from all of those records. Okay. This is our last one. And Idaho suspect Bryan Kohberger cites mob justice fears and wants a courtroom camera ban. Yes. Let me see if I can blow this up a bit. It is blown up, guys. Yeah. Okay.
Technology ultimately led to the arrest of Bryan Kohberger, the suspect charged with those stabbing deaths. Investigators pulled cell phone data to track Kohberger's movements during the months leading up to the killings. A video clip from a live camera showed 2 of the victims visiting a food truck. This helped police establish a timeline and track.
Make sure everybody subs to USA Today. I do look at their articles here and there. And yeah, absolutely worth a peek.
the victim's whereabouts. One of those students had food delivered via DoorDash at 4 a.m. on the day of the murders. Investigators say that helped them narrow down a time frame for the killings, which was within 25 minutes after that DoorDash delivery. Video from nearby the crime scene showed a white sedan repeatedly driving past the home, arriving in the area the last time at 4:04 a.m. and then leaving at a high rate of speed at 4:20 a.m.
So there has been a little bit dispute whether or not this vehicle is white or silver. Now that doesn't come from law enforcement or any reputable. It's coming from, different things that should be confirmed for sure. But that is some of the gossip that's going around.
According to the court documents, an FBI agent who specializes in vehicle identifications examined the video and concluded it was likely a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra sedan, the same vehicle Bryan Kohberger drove. A license plate reader caught the same Hyundai Elantra sedan traveling through Colorado a few weeks after the murders.
How you doing? How y'all doing today?
Body camera footage released by Indiana State Police show a trooper stopping Kohberger and his father as they drove cross-country to their home in Pennsylvania several weeks after the murders. The two were stopped for following too closely and were let go with a verbal warning.
Well, do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay? All right, thank you.
After tracking down the car and the cell phone to Kohberger's family home in Pennsylvania, police took DNA from trash outside the home. They found the DNA from a man who lives in that home was 99% certain to be the father of the person.
That's pretty good damn confirmation, wouldn't you say?
Left the DNA on the knife sheath at the crime scene. Authorities have yet to publicly establish any motive or say whether Kohberger knew the victims. Police also have not disclosed why the students' fellow roommates did not call authorities and why they weren't alerted until nearly 8 hours after the killings.
So, absolutely. Bryan Kohberger. So, I would love to know what you guys think about this case. Do you think, I almost want to point out everything that we know is pretty much as close to fact as I can because there's really not that much that sits there at this point. I do believe we're going to learn a lot more once this trial actually starts. I mean, I think they're doing what they need to do to keep this case strong and solid. I don't mind that we just get little bits here and there if it means that they're going to have a strong case and they can put this jerk away forever. So, guys, before it starts to get any more grumpy as far as outside goes, I am going to jump off. And thanks very much for being here with me again. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to sub if you haven't already. Hit that like button so I can get myself into that algorithm a little bit better. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.